The Holt heritage is a journey that began before our time. A journey of innovation, customer service, and a strong commitment to a set of core business values. A journey about overcoming challenges. A journey that began more than a century ago. Holt's heritage runs deep. Going back as far as 1883, when Benjamin Holt boarded the Transcontinental Railroad and left New Hampshire to join his brother Charles in California, he never would have dreamed of the legacy and heritage of innovation that was yet to come. Benjamin Holt was a natural innovator. From 1889 through 1920, he earned 47 patents. He saw how heavy wheel-type tractors bogged down in California's Central Valley and decided to do something about it. In late 1904, he developed and tested the first successful track-type tractor, which he named the Caterpillar. His second son, 12-year-old William K., took an interest in his father's work at a young age.
Wow, that's amazing, Paul. I've never seen a traction engine without wheels before. It looks like something from the future.
Son, I believe that is the future of traction engines.
Well, do you think it'll be around 100 years from now?
If we build a quality product, treat our employees and customers right, and provide excellent service, it'll be around.
Holt's Caterpillar revolutionized the industry and contributed greatly not only in agricultural efforts, but on the military front as well. During World War I, the military was looking for a better way to transport artillery and supply wagons. The solution was Holt's Caterpillar tractors. While serving in World War I, William K. Holt operated and maintained Holt tractors. Once again, Holt innovation helped shape an era. Surplus Army tractors from World War I made business difficult for both the Holt Manufacturing Company and competitor Best Tractor Company. In 1925, the two companies were merged to form Caterpillar Tractor Company. The new public company combined its separate dealerships to create the Caterpillar Dealer Network. At that time, William K. left Stockton, California because Caterpillar was looking for someone to head up a dealership in Mexico. He accepted the challenge and opened a CAT dealership in Mexico City with partner Ted Finley. In 1933, William K. Holt had an opportunity to get back to the U.S. because Caterpillar was looking for a new dealer for South Texas. It was the middle of the Great Depression, but William K. managed to come up with $5,000 to buy the parts inventory for a new dealership headquartered in San Antonio. This turn of events would become a very defining moment in Holt history, as it marked the beginning of Holt innovation in Texas.
Can I have your attention for just a minute? Of all the times to start a new company, well, here we are. Our economy may be suffering, but that won't keep us down. Today, we're celebrating the establishment of the William K. Holt Machinery Company as the Caterpillar dealer for 60 counties in South Texas. It's a lot of territory, especially when we have less than 10 employees. But what we lack in numbers, make up for in service and in spirit. Although we're in what they're calling a depression, our saving grace, city and county road building and maintenance will keep us moving. And since so many are struggling to come up with cash, we'll even trade equipment for mules to help people out. These are hard times for everyone. We maintain our commitment as a business, a commitment to push ahead like my father did. Big things are sure to come. Now, let's open this South Texas dealership and give our competitors a run for their money.
By 1937, William K. moved his headquarters in San Antonio to a large 46,000 square foot building leased from H.B. Zachary Company. William K. Holt Machinery was one of Zachary's largest suppliers. At that time, a new D8 cost $8,000 and a Laterno scraper cost $4,000. Holt helped Zachary get started in earth moving by allowing him to pay for equipment by the yard of dirt moved. This helped Holt to sell equipment and Zachary to expand into large-scale earth moving.
Bound for Japanese bases in the South Pacific, giant Liberator and Mitchell bombers, piloted by United States and Australian airmen, launched one of the heaviest air blows in this far-distant theater of war. Air power paving the way for United Nations infantry. 1,000-pound bombs plunging through humid...
The Depression years were tough, but the World War II period was little better. The government converted all of Caterpillar's manufacturing capacity to war material production. All Holt had to sell was used equipment. By 1944, William K. was looking for a business partner to help him run the company. He brought in Howard Murphy, who worked for Caterpillar as an engineer and merchandising manager. Murphy was an energetic individual who was always looking for ways to expand the business. During the 1800s, South Texas was largely open prairie, but towards the turn of the century, there was a gradual encroachment of brush, which reduced the land available for grazing. Beginning in 1936, Bob Clayburgh Jr. of the King Ranch, along with William K. Holt Machinery and R.G. Laterno, developed the tree dozer, which knocked down mesquite trees and uprooted them at the surface. By 1939, the King Ranch had also developed the knife rooter, the first root plow, which used a cutting edge to cut tree roots below the bud zone. In 1946, Holt Machinery developed its own improved design, and the famous Holt root plow was born. In addition to providing a source of revenue in the post-war years, root plows helped Holt sell and service D8 tractors. Although tree dozers and root plows worked well, they were still separate functions done at different times. In 1949, Bob Clayburgh approached Howard Murphy and William K. Holt with an idea that would become the funnel dozer, a powerful machine that combined multiple tasks of land clearing.
Howard, let me see that sketch I did earlier. Sure. Now, what I want is a machine that has the power to perform 3 tasks in one pass. Knock the trees down, funnel them under the tractor to create a windrow, and cut the roots just below the bud zone. If you can build a machine that can do all that and last 1,000 hours, the King Ranch will buy it.
What about a modified D8 with attachments?
Nah, these mesquites are so big, I don't think the D8 can walk over them. And there's not enough clearance underneath. Even if there was, the D8 just doesn't have the power to perform all 3 tasks at once.
Bob, you leave that to us. We'll build you a machine to take care of it.
Good, because the future of the beef cattle industry in South Texas depends on it.
In March 1951, William K. Holt Machinery delivered the first twin D8 tractor to the King Ranch. This 110,000-pound, 270-horsepower Leviathan with 2 D8 engines performed very well and cleared an unheard of 4 acres per hour. Through the first half of the 1950s, Holt's land clearing business was bigger than the construction business. There were as many as 100 D8s working in brush control applications in Holt's territory. In 1948, William K.'s nephew, B.D. Holt, had begun working for Caterpillar in Peoria, Illinois. William K. followed his career, and in 1954, he asked B.D. to join him in the company as promotion manager. William K. also asked another nephew, Holt Atherton, B.D.'s cousin, to join the company. A couple of years later, B.D. moved up to Vice President of Parts and Service, and Holt Atherton, Vice President of Sales. They both wanted to carry on the family's heritage of service, commitment, and innovation.
The day was June 29th, 1956. A big day for the nation. Maybe you were starting off on the big vacation. The weather was perfect for it. Or maybe you were just going shopping, or trying to. Or trying to get your goods to market. In Washington that day, the President of the United States, acting for you, signed into law a bill that would vitally affect your life and mine. The Federal Aid Highway Act amounts to sort of a new start in life for motoring Americans. The bill marked the beginning of the largest construction project in the history of the world, which will make the lives of millions of Americans not only easier, but longer.
In addition to selling equipment for highway construction, Holt developed the Spray King water tanker, which helped with soil compaction and dust control. Another large market for Holt was the construction of dams for large reservoirs, such as Canyon Lake. These reservoirs are used primarily for flood control and water supply. In the early 60s, William K. divided his 60-county territory and passed it on to his two nephews, B.D. Holt and Holt Atherton. A new phase of Holt legacy was born. B.D. and partner Mark Hewlings, a CAT district rep, formed B.D. Holt Company in 1961 to serve the 20 southern counties of Texas. In 1963, they celebrated the completion of a new headquarters in Corpus Christi. In that same year, Holt Atherton took over the northern 40 counties of the William K. Holt territory and established Holt Machinery Company. B.D. Holt and Mark Hewlings made a good team, just as their predecessors had, and worked together to grow their company with a limited territory. In early 1969, their research uncovered a market for gas compressors in South Texas, a market that allowed them to sell CAT natural gas engines. By the end of 1969, they had formed Energy Industries to build their own line of compressor packages using a CAT engine and a Chicago pneumatic compressor. Little did they know how much positive impact Energy Industries would have on their future growth. B.D. Holt and Mark Hewlings ran a values-oriented company and liked to reward their employees. They hosted dinner parties and Christmas parties to show their appreciation to both employees and spouses. The 1969 party would have been special as it celebrated some new events in history.
Would you all like to have a seat, please? My name is Mark Hewlings, and I would like to welcome all of you to our Christmas party. I'd also like to thank our employees for all your hard work this year. You make this company what it is. And thank you as well to all the spouses for your support throughout the year. Now, please welcome the grandson of Benjamin Holt, Mr. B.D. Pete Holt.
Thanks, Mark. I'd also like to thank each of you and your spouses for your commitment to this company. As many of you know, we started in 1961 with only 67 employees and about $5 million in sales. Because of your hard work, B.D. Holt and affiliates did over $11 million in sales this year. And it's been a special year. It's the first time man landed on the moon, and it's also the year we formed Energy Industries to build gas compressor packages. Only time will tell, but Mark and I believe this will be a profitable venture for our company. Now, enough about business. Merry Christmas to you all. Let's have a great evening.
B.D. and Mark's intuition was right. The company's growth skyrocketed through the 1970s. By 1981, B.D. Holt and affiliates' sales had increased to over $120 million. In addition to gas compression, uranium mining in and around Live Oak and Karnes counties during the 70s became a large market for both Holt dealerships and brought friendly competition between B.D. Holt Company and Holt Machinery Company. By the early 1980s, the market for uranium dropped significantly, and this business faded away. In the early 70s, Energy Industries needed a smaller natural gas engine than was available from CAT. Floyd Conrad was field service manager then, and a young Alan Archer was foreman of the specialization rebuild shop. Through their ingenuity and the ingenuity of several Holt employees, they developed and tested the first CAT 3304 natural gas engine, even before Caterpillar built one.
Alan Archer. Yeah, I'll be there in a few minutes. Thank you.
So you think it'll work, huh?
Well, Floyd, the boys and I have been studying this, and we think we can take some parts here off the 3306, and we'll have to replace the pistons, a few other things, but we believe that'll work. Now, we can use the cylinder head off the 3304 with spark plug adapters.
Well, sounds good. Those accessory parts that Cat's shipping us should be here any day.
Good. Well, we ought to be ready for a test run then by the end of the week.
Okay. You realize Cat said this can't be done.
It never stopped us before.
In 1977, Cat announced the revolutionary 700 horsepower D10 dozer, the first bulldozer with an elevated sprocket design. This dozer would pave the way for all future Cat elevated sprocket designs. Holt Machinery delivered the first D10 in Texas to Longhorn Cement in San Antonio. B.D. Holt and Mark Hewlings were more visionary about the future than most other Cat dealers. During the oil bust of the early 1980s, they only owned about 10% of the engine inventory of other dealers, and therefore were able to minimize their losses. As Holt began its 20th year of business, BD began to look to the future of the company. In 1983, his oldest son Peter joined the company, and in 1984, Peter bought Mark Hewlings' portion, becoming president, bringing new ideas and energy to the company's continued commitment to success. Together, BD and Peter found new opportunities to increase sales with a limited territory through acquiring 2 Ohio Cat dealerships in 1985. Later, in 1986, they purchased the Cat dealership in South Louisiana. In 1987, another opportunity came about which would solidify the future of the Holt family in Texas. B.D. Holt Company merged with Holt Machinery, restoring the original 60-county William K. Holt Machinery territory. The new combined company was named Holt Company of Texas. With this newest purchase, B.D. Holt Company and Energy Industries combined had over 38 locations and increased from 400 to 3,500 employees in 2 years. With this rapid increase in size, Peter Holt realized the need for change. In 1988, Peter brought in consultants to guide the development of a system of managing by values, which later became known as values-based leadership. This values-based leadership process clarified and expressed in writing what B.D. Holt and Mark Hewlings had already been living. In 1993, Peter asked now President and General Manager Alan Archer to join him as partner. With the leadership team of Peter Holt and Alan Archer, the company ventured into yet another growth opportunity by acquiring the assets of Dar Equipment Company in 2002, calling the expanded dealership HOLT CAT. This increased the company's coverage from 60 to 118 counties, from the Red River to the Rio Grande. In 2008, HOLT CAT celebrates 75 years of Holt innovation in Texas.
In 1904, my great-grandfather put the tracks on the tractor. In 1933, my great-uncle, William K. Holt, began 75 years of innovation for the Holt family in Texas. In 1961, my dad formed B.D. Holt Company, and in 1984, I became president. I would like to thank my dad, B.D. Holt, for sharing his legacy with me and practicing these values before we formally put them on paper. Because of these values, we've had our continued success at HOLT CAT. I'd also like to thank my partner, Alan Archer, for his leadership through the past 2 decades. Through values-based leadership and the hard work and dedication of our 2,000 employees and our partnership with Caterpillar, we've been able to do a lot for our customers and our community. Our heritage runs deep. Today, HOLT CAT is the only Caterpillar dealership in the world owned and operated by direct descendants of Benjamin Holt, the developer of the track-type tractor. But we couldn't have done it without loyal customers like you. With your support, the 4th generation of Holts in the Caterpillar business will continue to serve you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank
you. Despite economic decline or turbulence that has occurred throughout the decades, the Holt family has maneuvered its way around all obstacles and has preserved solid relationships with customers, employees, suppliers, and the community. This journey began over a century ago, yet it is far from over. The Holt legacy of innovation lives on to continue helping shape Texas for decades to come.